obviously if you have some CAD, you need to know how to turn the CAD into hard copies. One of the tricks that we use hard copies for is we can actually print out templates. So let's say we design something on the CAD side and it's a hole pattern. We can actually print off a sheet of paper with a 1:1 scale and then do what? Physically, in fabrication. You can lay this sheet of paper down on top of a plate of steel, and what can you do? If it's got the outline of the part and it's a 1:1 scale, what can you do? Yeah, you could actually use a pen, or you can use a scribe or something to just trace the object onto the steel plate. Yeah. So that's one advantage of creating hard copies. Now the other advantage is this: a lot of times you just have to have drawings produced for people to see. You know, you've got to actually have some basic drawings for them to work with, or yourself to work with in this format, right? So here's what you do. Again, the lecture material has all the specific steps, but let's just say, for example, that I want to, this is a part. We'll rotate it back into 45. Let's go. And I want to print a hard copy of this part. And I want it to be on a 1:1 scale. There's a couple ways to do this. One, you can do the fast way. The fast way is you just go up, you hit print, you tell it what kind of printer you want to use. Let's say I'm going to use a PDF for the moment. You're going to tell it what paper size, and we're going to make a window around our object. Tell it to center, and put it at a scale of 1:1. Okay? Hit preview, check it out. Now, what do I notice is a problem right off the bat? Yeah, something's just not fitting right. So either my part's too big or my sheet's too small. Depends on what printer. If you don't have a printer that can print it, it doesn't matter. You have to scale something. So let's go back, and I'll change my scale from 1:1 to 1:2. Let's see how that looks. Whoops. Need to hit preview. How's that look? All right, now this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. First of all, keep that in mind. So with this in mind, we know that if I print this off, I can't use this as a template and scribe on top of, because it's half the size of normal. But if I had a measuring tape, I could go through and measure all these things, and I know there's a scale of 1 to 2, I could just double them and it would work. But this allows me to create, now with this particular printer setting, it allows me to create a quick hard copy. And let's see, print. Hit save. And there we go. Here is the PDF with the actual file. And of course, I can always send this PDF to a printer to print it off in hard copy. So all I've done is made a hard copy of a CAD drawing. Now, if I wanted to, could I go add some text? Absolutely. I could go add some text using my text tools that we've already learned. Single line text. I add a piece of text right here. Height that we point to, that's fine. Text angles, that's fine. And I'll call it my name. And you'll notice the scale is pretty small, so I need to keep that in mind. If I'm going to scale it to a 1/2, that means that my 1/4 inch size text just got smaller than it needs to be, so I might need to keep that in mind. But I could add text is the key thing. So a person can make a hard copy pretty fast. However, having said that, that's not the best way to make a blueprint with CAD packages. They typically like you to use this format, where you use this little zone. See how this looks very different than everything else? This was model and this is layout. It wants you to set up your prints in here by using these tools called viewports. So let's say, let's go to, actually I could just do it this way. Back up for a second. You see this right here? This box? What do you see inside the box? Well, you see the things that I've drawn over here, right? Look familiar? So what it does is these layouts allow you to lay out a drawing on a sheet of paper. So this represents the paper. What do you think these outlines represent? If this whole thing represents a sheet of paper, what do you think these dashes represent? Would you guess? Margins? You're basically, your printer has limits on how far it can get to the edges. So it's saying essentially, as long as you draw with whatever you want to do in here, it'll print. Anyway, this is called a viewport. It allows me to see stuff in my view. It allows me to scale my image to a certain size. And if you want to, it even allows you to, get this thing in position right here, it even allows you to add text here. Check out this. Single line text, I'm going to put it right here, point 2, and that, Eric Woldridge. And if we check out a quick print preview, I didn't set it up yet. And I'll have to set it up here in a second. It's going to allow me to show my object, show it at scale, add some text, and I'll do a page setup manager, which allows me to set my printer up once again. Paper size, that's cool. Black and white, that's cool. And here we go. A print preview shows me that there's my part scaled. So when it prints off, it's going to look just like this. Now, there are ways to get rid of this extra box that you don't need. That's provided in the lesson material. And an explanation, look at the fact that my text looks this proportion right here, but when I did it in here, it doesn't look right. What do you think that reason is? Well, the reason, you have to keep in mind is the fact that point 2 hasn't actually changed. It's the fact that this thing is scaled, and when I created my text here, it was like real size. So for example, if this is a sheet of paper, my text will be about 1/4 inch, about 0.25, even so in that ballpark. So a lot of times when you want to make a nice set of plans, you'll put your text in here and your objects and stuff stay out here in model space. Also note that they call these tabs different. They may call them like paper space or layouts. You'll have where you do your working model and your layouts where you actually set up some paper. So this is for nice prints. That other little trick where you're just here and you hit print, this is for quick and fast prints. We don't use this nearly as much. Okay? So the overall objective is you've been drawing, you do some creations, you set these prints up to actually produce hard copies as they're needed. Or you email these files to people, like you email these PDFs, and they can print them off together. Has a lot of advantage in fabrication to be able to transfer digital blueprints quick and easy. Questions you want to ask? So again, the material itself is more in depth. You got to go through several steps to make this work. There's reasons to make things work, all kinds of stuff. But the goal is this. Your objective is to draw stuff and then be able to turn it into hard copy. Now another lesson coming up is adding dimensions, but we'll hit that next time. Alright? Do what? Well, you got to keep in mind, if this is the way the world communicates, somebody has to go through all this to actually say, because you're not only going to be responsible for just reading prints, but you might be responsible for actually making them, especially if you want to subcontract work. You may not be able to actually produce all the parts. You might have to have someone else produce them with you. So you've got to get them stuff. And, the only way you can communicate is by drawings. Other questions? Keep in mind, it's just like any machine. It is just a set of steps. You do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, and it works. The note-taking is crucial, though, in this phase because there are a lot of steps to successfully set up a print. And the best way to learn is just to practice. Just draw something like I did. I just created something and then create a blueprint to do that. All right? Okay.